All right, guys, welcome back to Downtown Rams. As always, I'm your host, Alexis Kraft, joined here with my co-host, Jake Ellenbogen, and we are coming to you with a doubleheader episode again to recap our win over the Arizona Cardinals and preview our matchup this upcoming Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. So, Jake, starting with our 37-14 win against the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona, let's talk about that a little bit. And let's talk about, to start, Kyren Williams in his return, putting on the show, the record-breaking performance against the Arizona Cardinals. And all I have to say against everyone who was talking smack to me online this week about how Kyren doesn't mean anything and I'm over-exaggerating. I mean, what did I say, guys? Do you want me to be obnoxious about this? Because I could be. Jake, I'm going to let you start because anytime I talk about Kyren Williams, everybody thinks I'm biased. Everybody doesn't believe what I'm saying. They all want me to stop talking. But I think the performance on Sunday speaks for itself. I mean, he quite literally won this game for the Rams, hands down, in his performance. Jake, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was outstanding, just what the doctor ordered. I thought, he gave them everything you could ask for in the receiving game, the passing game, both as a blocker and as a receiver. And I don't know, man. Like, I'm watching Kyren and I just feel like he's something that they've been missing since Todd Gurley. I know that they thought they might have that in Cam Akers, but I mean, and Cam Akers, by all means, he's probably has the more long speed than Kyren Williams. There's definitely a chance he's faster, but there's so much more that goes into playing the running back position. I mean, Josh Jacobs isn't like wicked fast, right? But Josh Jacobs is really good at running the football. And I think so much goes into it because, I mean, you got to have your vision, you got to have your contact balance, you have to have hand-eye coordination, you have to have awareness, you have to have field awareness, first off, but also the awareness of what's in front of you. And again, vision is such a blanket term because what is vision, Alexis? It's the ability to see, right? See lanes, hit those holes and whatnot. That's not vision, hitting the hole. Seeing what you see doesn't necessarily mean that you're reading you're taking what is in front of you and you're processing it correctly. I think he's a great processor of information, and you have to be in the NFL, more so at quarterback, but as a running back, it's not easy. And so what I found is that he's almost foolproof. Because moving forward, people keep saying, oh, he hasn't run, against 8-man boxes and whatnot. I don't really care because I see a guy who's leading the league in yards after contact. And I'm thinking to myself, if he's doing that, then when, you do get that opportunity where a defense does want to put 9 or 10 guys in the box, I don't know why they would, because also you have to understand why that doesn't happen very often. The reason that happens is when a team doesn't respect your passing attack. A team doesn't respect your quarterback. Everyone in the league respects Stafford. It's not like we should hold that against Kyren Williams. That's just the way it is. If Kyren Williams played in the Packers game, they're stacking 9 in the box because nobody respected Brett Rippon to throw that football. That's just the virtue of it. Yeah. So the way I see it is this. He has the traits that are going to last him a while in the NFL. Yeah, okay, he hasn't, run against 9, 10 guys in the box like some other running backs, but it doesn't really matter, frankly. I mean, he's had to break tackles. He has broken tackles. He makes guys miss. He's the best running back on the team. I don't think it's remotely close right now. And I think Royce is playing well. I thought Henderson played well in relief. I just don't. He's the best running back that the Rams have had since Todd Gurley, and I do not say that lightly. But the question remains here: what we saw last week in the passing game, 6 catches, 60 plus yards, going over 200 total yards. Are they going to let him cook, or are they going to start being like, okay, well, now we can start throwing again? Because what I like that they did is, okay, Arizona, you want to play the pass, the way you're going to play it, fine. Then we're just going to take underneath shots. We're not going to go deep down the field. They took one shot to 2-2 Atwell, and after that, Arizona was like, we don't want you guys to be throwing deep down the field. We're going to take that away. And the Rams were like, all right, fine. We'll go with the short and intermediate. And it worked. And they had no answer. And then Arizona has no ability to stop the run. So because of that, it makes it that much easier. A lot of different things that you can do. And so, yeah, I'm just so impressed, Alexis. I mean, I sent you all sorts of stats. Kyren is still, well, let's put it this way. He's top 5 in a lot of things, and he's still top 24 despite missing 4 games in every running back metric that is out there. And I know she can vouch for me because I sent her literally every single running back metric that is out there. And Kyren is near the top in most of them. And the ones that he can't possibly be the top in because he missed 4 games, he's still in the top 24, which is crazy.
Well, let's put it this way. He was the first player in NFL history with 140 plus rushing yards, 6 plus receptions, 60 plus receiving yards, and 2 plus receiving touchdowns in a single game. So after missing time being on IR, he comes back and he does that. And again, people can say, oh, well, it was the Cardinals. Oh, whatever. Well, look at all the other games he's played this season and how well he performed in there. So it doesn't really matter to me who this game was against. And I think you made a good point earlier about what does this do now for the rest of this Rams offense? Because you bring Kyren back, what he allowed the Rams offense to do is to become more creative, become less predictable, lessen the load on the receivers, lessen the load on Stafford, because you can use Kyren in the run game. You can use him in the passing game, as we saw. So he allows relief for everybody else around him. Now, the question is, how does McVay respond to that with the receiving game, with the passing game? Like you said, do they let Kyren cook and say, we're just going to run everything through him? He's the number one guy. We're going to do this the rest of the way, see if it works out. Or do you pull back a little bit on his usage? Do you now start to use him in some decoy situations? Do you start to, throw more to Kupp again, throw more to Puka Nacua, get some, Atwell involved? We've been talking about how, we would like for the Rams to do that. So I just think that it's a winning situation for everybody on the offense when Kyren is out there, no matter what he is doing. And I think we saw the beginning of that on Sunday in Arizona, because that was just an incredible performance. And I know you and I were not at all surprised. I was not at all surprised. And you know what?
Maybe coming off, I will say I was a little surprised coming off that injury. We just, guys do not come back like that. To see him, I'll say this. It wasn't like he went back to himself. It was like he continued on his natural progression of getting better. Like this felt like he didn't miss a week. That's what it felt like. It felt like he got better. That's crazy.
I mean, I think, and I'm hoping as well that it continues that way for the rest of the season. I mean, he is a top 5 running back, in my opinion, in the NFL right now, when he is out there being utilized the right way and doing what he does. So that was exciting to see. But for the rest of the team, Jake, in Arizona, as we recap this game, I don't know if there's anything offensively that you want to touch on, because I do want to talk about the defense, which I think is being overshadowed. Everybody's talking about Kyren Williams and the game that he put up. Well, on the other side of the ball, our defense also put up a very good game against Arizona.
Yeah, no, the defense was outstanding. We'll wrap it up with this, with the offense. Tutu Atwell, just seeing that maturation, that progression in his development. First drive of the game, they throw a deep pass to Tutu Atwell, take a deep shot down the field. What was so impressive about that is, so he's constantly always, it's always held against him because he's used in motion a lot. So people are like, oh, he can't get off the line of scrimmage by himself. That time he's getting somewhat jammed at the line of scrimmage to start on the first drive. He does such a nice job getting off, has a little bit of a hezzy, and then works his way, inside release and turns upfield. Stafford puts it on him. It's a great throw, but it's still a little bit outstretched, and Atwell just somehow reels it in, like fingertips and all. and then he survives the ground and hauls in that pass. What that ends up doing is later on in the game, you see on the left side of the field, Tutu Atwell's lined up. And now later on in the game, and this is how you learn and you adapt as the game goes on, different adjustments. This is also how the offense can play a chess game, because I'm playing a chess match when I have Tutu Atwell, not motioning, just a straight release off the line of scrimmage. You're trying to play him tough there, trying to press him. He beats you. Well, later on in the game, they make an adjustment. They play 8 yards off of Tutu Atwell. Atwell knows where the first down is, so it's a quick out to get the first down for Atwell. And he's able to do that because now he has 8 yards of cushion that he's working against. Just really like that, because it just shows, first off, the development, but it also shows like throughout the game, he had to earn that respect. He gets that respect, and now, oh crap, I got to play 8 yards off of Atwell next time. And it opens that opportunity up. Atwell was not the clear out in this game, Alexis, and he was not the decoy. It was Cooper Kupp, like I expected him to be, because I don't think he was 100%. And I think he pretty much knew he was going out there to be a decoy. And I mean, if he had an opportunity, sure, they're going to throw it to him. But I definitely felt like he was a decoy. I don't think it's a surprise. The week he's a decoy, we see 73 yards for Atwell. The week he's a decoy, we see a 2-touchdown performance by Tyler Higbee, And so I think that was a big deal. I thought it really dispersed the targets and made the offense more, I guess, just diversified in general. Like the offense just felt way more creative. It was better play calling. And I'll say this, a friend of mine, Brent Lancaster, brought it up to me. He texted me about it, and, he said it, and I think it makes a lot of sense. Shout out to him, of course. Mike LaFleur definitely felt like he had more of like a handle on the play calling. Like we don't know for sure, Alexis. We just don't. But like, McVay's not going to come out and say, yeah, Mike LaFleur called that great game. That was our best game EPA wise since 2020. But it felt like he had some sort of like fingerprint on the offense more than usual. And I think a lot of that is because of Kyren Williams coming off the bye, able to kind of get under the hood. And then now they finally have their guy back.
Yeah, and I want to touch on Tyler Higbee really quickly, because I had a mental note to do this, and then I was like thinking about the defense. But yeah, 2-touchdown game from Tyler Higbee. Do you think that the Rams are intentionally trying to ramp up Higbee's usage? Do you think it just was coincidental? Or, what do you think that was? Because I think as us Rams fans, we've been talking all season about how we need to see more from Higbee. Yes, he's been banged up. We've given him grace with that. But a lot of the mistakes that he made were honestly like simple mistakes. He's been making them, bad drops, all things like that, things that we aren't really particularly used to seeing from him. He comes out, he has a really, really good game. Do you think this was coincidental? Do you think this had to do with the Rams game plan at all? Or do you think we can be expecting more of this as the season goes on from Higbee?
I definitely think it's coincidental. Higbee is a threat to score 2 touchdowns every game, just about. He's a red zone target, tight end. Those guys typically, I don't have to tell you, prop god over there. Tight ends are very valuable.
I didn't have any on Higbee.
Yeah, well, I didn't have any on Higbee. I wouldn't have expected Higbee to have 2 touchdowns that game of all games, but no, I think, we saw a shift. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of Bryson Hopkins. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know how he is a healthy scratch. Maybe it's because he's not going to come back next year. Maybe they've already made that decision. But Hunter Long, man, he can block. He had some great blocks. He was flagged on a call that I think it was kind of ticky-tack. Shocker, a ticky-tack penalty when Sean Smith is refereeing. But, I thought Hunter Long played really well, and it was nice to see because, he's part of that Jalen Ramsey trade, and you see Jalen Ramsey and what he's doing in Miami, just having an unbelievable season, and he's missed so many games, but he just made an immediate impact. It's good to see Hunter Long finally out there. And now we know that he exists, but he's a little bit better than just existing. Now he's actually, he sprung a nice run for Kyren on the left sideline. I think he's doing a really nice job. Based on that one game, obviously he's got a lot more to go. And he, I think, only has one catch in his career, and it's a touchdown. So we'll see if maybe he's an anytime touchdown type of bet there. But no, I was just really impressed. I thought the offensive line blocked well. I mean, again, you still have your moments where Alex Jackson gets overwhelmed at times, but I do like him. I wish it would work out. I do think they're eventually going to get their left tackle of the future, but no, I felt like the offense. It's weird because on one hand, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua don't do anything, and that's kind of annoying. But at the same time, it's like it shows you, hey, we're that capable of going off and scoring 37 when Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp combined for 50 total yards. I mean, that is a feather in your cap. I mean, I think they're going to build off this, and I keep saying it. I stand by it. I don't think this was just the Cardinals. I really don't. I think they've played teams tough this year. They've been a competitive team, and the Rams, yes, they have their number, but that felt different than the first time they played the Cardinals. The first time, Kyren Williams didn't have like yards going into the second half. He went off in the second half. I mean, he was barely running the ball going into the second half. But this game felt like a complete 60 minutes, all three phases. Even when they were losing 8-7, it just felt like BS. Like it was just like, they shouldn't be, they're dominating. How are they losing? And then they immediately, cleared it up. But I know you want to move to the defense. So yeah, we can definitely do that.
Well, yeah, let's talk about the defense, because what a game.
Yeah.
And listen, it's still, I get that this defense has had its criticisms over the course of the year. I've had criticisms of this defense at times. There's been a lot, they're young. There's a lot going on there, in all of the phases, I think, of this Rams defense, especially the secondary. There's been a lot of inconsistency, a lot of question marks around a lot of guys. Say what you want about this defense, but they put up a very good game against an Arizona Cardinals defense with Kyler Murray, who you and I have talked about. Kyler Murray, I think he's talented. I don't think he should be discredited. I know this Cardinals team has struggled a lot this year. Kyler Murray has played some, and he's also missed a lot of games. I don't think it's entirely on him. You got a guy like Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown on that team. A lot of, Trey McBride, who, hey, I had a lot of Trey McBride props.
That dude lines up everywhere.
Yeah, you talk about tight end prop god. Of course, I had in my bets on Trey McBride, and they did not hit because this Rams defense, they did their job, and they did a very, very good job. So, Jake, was this surprising for you? Again, I know that we're playing the Cardinals, so in my mind going into this game, I thought they'd have a relatively good game. But again, I still thought, we'd see a Trey McBride touchdown in there. I thought, we'd see, so in my mind, they exceeded my expectations. I'll say that. I thought they were going to have a good game, but I was very impressed with the way that they played. What do you think?
I think, to an extent, I was a little surprised because, I have to say I was surprised. I had 27-17. So the Rams scored 10 more points than I expected. And, they scored, 14. So they scored three less points than I expected. So I guess I was on the mark there somewhat. I didn't expect the extra 10 points. I expect them to get to 37. But I thought the defense played extremely well. I think it goes without saying, Kobe Turner is just hitting his stride right now. I think he's top 5 in run stop rate among all of interior defensive linemen. But the sacks, he looked really good. Shot out like a cannon. He had 7 pressures from Aaron Donald, playing a great game. Stopping the run, I thought they did a nice job. We've talked about it. Why this team's normally always good against mobile quarterbacks, and they struggled this year, and they stifled Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray did not do anything as a runner in this game. I thought Murray came away with a decent game, all things considered. Completion percentage was kind of out there, but 256 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, fumbled, sacked 4 times. It's a fine day. I mean, he was pressured a lot, and I thought he played pretty well. But all things considered, but James Conner, like holding him to 6 carries for 27 yards, like he didn't even see another carry after that. You know, and then I think you go back, you look through, you know, the receivers and everything, and you know, Marquise Brown ends up with 88 yards. What I think that the stats are going to lie to you about is that a lot of these guys weren't doing anything when the starters were in. It's after the starters came out. So like they started picking on Trey Tomlinson and so forth. And I just kind of feel like, you know, the Rams defense was outstanding in this one. Michael Hoyt had a sack. Kobe Turner had 2 sacks. I thought, you know, pass breakups.
Deshaun Johnson,
John
Mr.
Johnson looked
Irrelevant.
good. He had 2. Desjuan Johnson had a sack. But it was nice to see John Johnson like back. I think he's definitely, you know, I think there were some question marks whether he was in like good enough football shape. Now, you know, those have been answered. I mean, he is in football shape now. He looks good. Jordan Fuller played the best game of his career, in my opinion. 4 pass breakups in this game. He was huge. I got to give a shout out per usual because I just think he's played so well this year. Akella Witherspoon, 3 pass breakups. You know, what he's able to do just running stride for stride with Marquise Brown is just so underappreciated. And I mean, he came to the Rams like he was going to play more of this cover 3, like zone defense. It's going to be very, and it's not to say that they don't play zone. They play match zone, but he's been man up. Like he's really been manned up quite a bit, left on his own, you know, on his own island, essentially. And he's really stepped up and made, you know, a hell of a deal this year. What a pickup. I mean, for real. But yeah, this defense just continues week in and week out, in my opinion, because I mean, I disagree with most Rams fans. I think the defense has been outstanding, considering the fact they spent less money than any team in the league. They're middle of the pack in just about every statistical category, which to me, I think is somewhat lying. I think they've been better than that. I think the offense has hurt them. Keep in mind, the offense without Kyron Williams was scoring 14 a game. So I think the offense was hurting the defense, keeping them out there for a while. I think this defense could be top 10, you know, right now if this offense was playing the way it did on Sunday, or even, you know, going back to the way they played against the Colts. I mean, if they were playing like that every week, you know, then the defense isn't on the field as much, right? So that's how I feel. All in all, though, you know, the one Matthew Stafford interception sucked because I thought he played really well. And that was just so dumb. Like, it just wasn't a good throw, wasn't a good decision. You just really, one of those things that just gets away from you, I guess, just in the heat of the moment. But that was really upsetting. But all in all, though, I felt really impressed with the Rams. This is a win. Like, you know, last week we were talking about it with Seattle, like a win is a win, like whatever, like just get it done. Arizona, that's a team that you're supposed to beat. So you got to throw a little bit extra in there. To end up 37-14 in this one and score every single quarter, show consistency on the road, that is a good sign. That's a very good sign with the next 6 games upcoming.
I agree. And speaking of the next game, let's pivot now into the matchup against the Cleveland Browns. Because, and
Pivot.
Jake's laughing because, yeah, every time we hear that word, we just automatically go to, but this matchup, Jake, against the Cleveland Browns is interesting because the Browns are without quite a bit of their team. And that includes Deshaun Watson, who's out for the season, their quarterback. And this game coming up, Denzel Ward, who's a huge piece of their secondary, is out. We got Joe Flacco, who just came in this week, is going to be their starting quarterback, they announced against us. So he's had a week with the team. We're going to be seeing him go out there and play. Myles Garrett is back at practice today, so he might be playing on it. He probably will be playing on Sunday. But that would have been, that's not 100%. So I do think that he will be playing though. But if you imagine if all of these players were hurt and then Myles Garrett was also not out there, that'd be crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think Marquise Goodwin also might be out, receiver for them. So just they're banged up. This Browns team is banged up. They're with a brand new quarterback who, yes, he's a veteran in this league, but he doesn't have any chemistry with his team yet. He's only been there a week, so we'll have to see how Flacco does. But Jake, this is looking, injuries or not, I think that I was pretty confident about the Rams going up against Cleveland Browns. But certainly now, knowing that they're going to be missing a lot of their team, I'm feeling pretty good about our chances on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. No, without a doubt. I mean, I think coming into the season, I felt good about them beating them. Then the season unraveled, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, this Browns team's better than, any of us really would have thought. But, Deshaun Watson on IR, Nick Chubb on IR, Jedrick Wills on IR, Jack Conklin, Rodney McLeod, now Denzel Ward's out. Like, they've had so many injuries this year. So, I mean, this is the NFL, right? The Rams dealt with it last year. The Rams right now are one of the healthiest teams in the league, knock on wood. But, I think coming into this game, Joe Flacco has that veteran savviness, although he hasn't won much the last 20 games. He's 3-17, I believe. I think with Flacco, what you're getting is somebody that can just manage the game, which gives a really good defense a chance. But Alexis, I don't think people realize with the Browns defense, they're very pass heavy. And what I mean by that is basically their calling card is their pass defense. Their pass defense is allowing 134 yards over the last 3 games passing. That is the number 1 in that span for the NFL. So they are doing a great job, and they're number 1 overall for the year with 142. But here's where it gets a little interesting. You ready for this? Because I think people are not seeing this. If you're not paying attention, if you're not doing the research, you might be surprised this Sunday. The Browns defense is elite. But is it really? Because at home, they give up 83.5 passing yards, which is insane. The next is Kansas City at 152.4. So 83.5 is absolutely insane for the homes for the whole year at home. On the road, they give up 212.2. This is a team that is a home versus away team. This is a Jekyll and Hyde team, Alexis. It really is. It's a team where if they're in their environment, they're at home, they feel good, right? But if they're not, they don't feel so good. And I noticed this with the passing attack, but then I saw the run game. They give up 105.9 per game on the ground, which isn't bad. I mean, that's not a bad year. Over the last 3 games, however, they're giving up 149 a game, which bodes well for Kyron Williams. And another thing here, they give up 92.2 rushing yards at home, and they give up 122.4 on the road. Alexis, this team is night and day home versus away. The Rams, however, are playing at SoFi. So they will be on the road. They will be without Denzel Ward. They will be without Deshaun Watson. They will be without Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who has been ruled out. This is not a team right now that can afford to be playing on the road, considering how much they struggle. So I'm just saying, this thing could get ugly. If the Rams of last week show up, this is going to be an absolute bloodbath. If last week's Rams show up, they will have no problem putting 30 plus on the board. Because this team, like I said, elite, question mark, I've kind of changed my tune. I don't know if I can say a defense is elite if they're only really good at home. Yeah. That's not an elite defense.
I mean, we're going to find out. We're going to find out
we are.
On Sunday.
The proof is right there in the pudding, but, I get what you're saying. Though. Any given Sunday, they certainly have any chance, as much a chance of anybody is winning a game, but I don't know. I feel really good about the Rams this week.
I feel good about the Rams too, and we're going to talk about that here really quick when we do our predictions on our schedule. But, I mean, the thing with this Browns defense that Myles Garrett, obviously, candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, having an outstanding year. A lot of people, think that he could go for the record based on how he's playing. But, they've got a guy on that team, JOK, who, if people watch our draft streams, Jake and I really, really loved. He plays well for them. Denzel Ward is out. But, Zadarius Smith, Dalvin Tomlinson. I mean, they've got on paper a very good defense. So I can't, I want to keep that in mind. But Jake, looking at our offense and the game plan, do you think we should have the same game plan that we had against Arizona? Or do you think we should change it? What do you think the Rams are going to come out and do going against this team and this defense that is having a pretty good year?
I don't buy any defense looking at Cooper Kupp and be like, yep, he's going to be a decoy today. Look, it might not be the most ideal thing for him. He might want to go and, eat. But I mean, if he's going to just generate the attention from defenses based on what he's done in his career, then it's going to give other guys an opportunity to get open. I think that they should just go exactly how they did last week. That mindset. Obviously, you want to mix it up a little bit, but just the idea you're going to get the running backs involved in the passing game, mainly Kyron. You're not afraid to take the deep shot, but you're also not afraid to deviate away from that if they're taking that away. And I think that's how they should play it. And I think they should run the ball. And I think they should have a balanced attack. 33, what was it last week? It was like 33 passing, 33 rushing. I want to see something like that. I think they can definitely, take this game and just run away with it. They have the home field. They're going to be able to have those vocal cadences. Stafford's really good at drawing offsides penalties. So, that's going to be big. That's going to be huge, but we'll see. To your point, the Browns have dogs. I mean, I thought, Okoronkwo has a revenge game just as much as, John Johnson III. I mean, I think Okoronkwo has played really well this year for them. They have, Myles Garrett, of course, Dalvin Tomlinson, Jordan Elliott's playing well, Zadarius Smith. And then, you mentioned JOK, but also Sion Taki and, Anthony Walker Jr. These are guys that can get out on the move and go sideline to sideline and really be a problem, especially in coverage. It's why really no one succeeds against them, but mainly at home. So, looking at that secondary, Juan Thornhill, good player. Grant Delpit is having a huge contract season. Denzel Ward out, so we're going to see Martin Emerson. Obviously, he's in the top 3 in catch percentage allowed, only behind Joey Porter Jr., right ahead of Ahkello Witherspoon. And then they have Greg Newsome, who's physical. So if we see something like that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. He plays with some serious physicality. And then look, I mean, they got some injuries. I mean, they have DeAnthony Bell, Ronnie Hickman, Mike Ford, and then the guy we interviewed, Khalif Hailasi. So it'll be interesting to see where they go at corner. They could go with Hailasi, they could go with Mike Ford, but their third corner, that's going to be up in the air because Martin Emerson Jr., I would assume, is going to kick out to the outside spot with Denzel Ward out. And by the way, Denzel Ward being out is almost as important as Myles Garrett, in my opinion, because Denzel Ward can literally take a receiver out of the game. He is one of the best in the league. And furthermore, it's not just him taking, a receiver out of the game so much as it is, he can also take the ball away. The guy is a game breaker. He truly has just a nose for the football. So that's a huge player that the Browns aren't going to have here. And at 7-4, I mean, they're looking good right now, but they just lost in a blowout against the Broncos. They're starting Joe Flacco 2 weeks. I think he's been in the building. So they need this game just as much as the Rams do, because I mean, we've talked about the AFC is better than the NFC. And I mean, if you look at the standings, like they need to keep up pace in the AFC. 7 wins right now isn't enough to hold off a Buffalo Bills team that shouldn't probably only have 6 wins, but they do. The Broncos, who now have a tiebreaker over them, right? So they're now a danger. The Raiders are an interesting one, sitting at 5 wins. So there are definitely some teams here that, they're putting some pressure. You got the Colts, you got the Texans. Texans at the season ended today would not make the playoffs. That's crazy to think about, but the Browns need this and the Rams need this to keep pace. I think this is even a bigger need for the Browns because right now it is going to get really tough for them. And by the way, ESPN Analytics before this game, before all the injuries and everything, had the Rams winning this at a 63.9%. So I don't know. They're favored, I think 4.5 now. They've been favored for a while in this game. So we'll see what ends up happening. I think, Alexis, we're going to see a lot of Jerome Ford. I think we're going to see some Kareem Hunt. I think we're going to see some Pierre Strong. I think you got to run the ball. You got to let, Flacco manage it. But I think you got to run the ball. And if you can't run the ball in this Rams team, you're not going to win. I just really don't see a way to win this game if you can't run the football.
Well, you kind of hinted at maybe some of your predictions there, which is what I was going to bring up next. So I guess I'll let you go first per tradition.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see what you think is going to happen, and remember all the players that are injured. You can't do that in your predictions because I've done that before.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say right off the rip, I'm going to go with Kyren Williams. Sorry. Kyren Williams goes over 120 and has a touchdown. I feel like that's kind of a lock. Now this could age horribly, and if that doesn't happen, there's a chance the Rams lost this game. Like I think they need Kyren to have a good day to keep that defense off of Stafford's back. A good run game keeps a pass rush honest and makes it harder to get after the quarterback when they throw it. So I do think he goes for a $120 and a touchdown. I think we are going to see a Joe Flacco interception. He's been pretty good at taking care of the football, but I think he's going to get a little too comfortable, as this game rolls on. See, this is the thing. This is where even the savvy vet, I think Raheem Morris can kind of out-duel here and trick, because I think he can give him kind of those underneath throws and get him comfortable. And then all of a sudden he starts taking it a little bit further and tries to go short. Like he goes from short to intermediate to deep. And then you get, an Akella Witherspoon interception, which I think is what we're going to see. Akella's been chomping at the bit. He wants one. I already know he wants one. So I think he's going to get one in this game. And then I'm going to predict the leading receiver is going to be Kyren Williams in this one. Okay. So $120 rushing, but I think Kyren's also going to lead the game in receiving. I think it's going to be one of those games where you see a lot of those like 50, 60-yard games across like maybe 3-4 different guys, but I think Williams ends up leading the team in receiving. I think that Stafford is going to not get sacked in this game. I think the offensive line is going to do a nice job of keeping him upright. I think it's also going to be, kind of a combination because Kyren is going to keep them honest with the run, that they're not able to really rush the passer as well. And I think the final prediction I'll have is that Hunter Long is going to catch a touchdown pass. It's going to happen. It's going to be we're going to say 3rd and goal at the 1. And we're going to say 4th and goal. McVay's going to go for at 4th and goal at the 1-yard line. Stafford is going to have a play action, and Hunter Long is going to be wide open in the end zone. And that will be his 2nd catch, I believe, of his career. I'll have to look it up real quick after this. 2nd catch of his career, 2nd touchdown.
I would love to see it. I think that'd be really cool, but I will say it's bold. Dare I say that is a bold
predictions, homie.
Man, well, I'm about to have to make at least one bold prediction because you stole mine. I gotta stop letting you go first. It's okay.
You really do.
I mean, here's the thing.
1 catch, 8 yards, and I guess he doesn't have a touchdown. I thought he had a touchdown. Oh well.
Well, here's the thing, though. I'm gonna keep the one that you stole. We're gonna share a dual prediction, and that is Kyren Williams touchdown, because it would be dumb to not bet that at this point. For all you bettors out there, I don't think his odds are, it's not like a steal to bet on. I mean, he's predicted to get a touchdown. It's a very easy bet.
It's not. Yeah, it's not. It's thank God it's not like Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it's not even. There's no point. Christian McCaffrey, it's like minus 220, which is stupid.
That's insane. I think Kyron, when I checked this morning, was at minus 145.
Oh my God, I saw minus 120 on DraftKings.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, whatever.
You're
I mean, yeah, to get out my phone. No, I mean, I'm obviously gonna. I don't know that I would do a anytime touchdown for him, but I like to do parlays. Like that's, got to throw something else in there. So I'm going to do a Kyron Williams-esque parlay. But anyways, I'm still going first prediction, Kyron Williams touchdown. That's my safe one. I would be shocked if that doesn't happen. If that doesn't happen, something's gone very wrong, in my opinion. Second prediction is I think we're going to see a Tutu Atwell deep bomb touchdown. We've been like,
I could see that.
There's been tension. Like we've all felt it, like it's coming. Like we just it needs to happen because Stafford has missed him a few times. We've talked about that.
I want him to get to 1,000 yards too. I mean, he's not really
what's
close,
he at again?
He's at 467.
Cool. So let's okay, I'm predicting Tutu Atwell 400-yard game.
There we go.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but I do think we are going to see that deep bomb touchdown to Tutu. I think that they are trying to get him involved, and I think there's just, trying to figure out how to use, all these other pieces in our offense, but I think it's coming. So that was one that I've been thinking about that I would predict. As far as defense, I'm going to say John Johnson interception.
I like it.
That would feel, I feel like that's not too crazy. It's not too bold. And I think that it'd be fun to see him get an interception with the Rams again. I mean, came back. I'm feeling it. I think someone in that secondary is due. Last week I called it.
With John Johnson interception parlayed with Okoronkwo sack, like revenge. Like, I could totally see that. But I could also see Stafford not getting sacked because that was my bold prediction. I'm going to stick to it.
I mean, I could see that. I mean, that is a little bold because it's the Brown. Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's your prediction, not mine. So
no, it's not my prediction. Not my prediction.
No. But I will say I did want to use this segment to brag that last week I got 2 right.
There you go.
I did call the Kyron Williams 2-touchdown game. And I did call Darion Kendrick interception, although it ended up not counting. Jake and I have agreed to count it.
We're counting
my predictions. Yeah. So
in NFL, start counting 2-point conversion like stats. Like a 2-point conversion attempt is still a play in football. I don't know why we don't count the yards. We don't count the 2-point conversion, and we don't count interceptions or forced fumbles or sacks. It's so stupid. It's a play that happened.
And it always feels like too when those 2-point conversions happen and whoever scores the touchdown is someone that I desperately need a real touchdown for.
Yep, every
time.
Like
have you ever had every time I have a player in a parlay and he doesn't get a touchdown the whole game, but he gets the 2-point conversion and it doesn't count. And I'm always
the worst is when you left the room and you come back and he's celebrating like he scored a touchdown. You're like, oh, he scored, and then someone's like, no, it's a 2-point conversion. I'm like, and you just die inside because you're like.
Yeah,
I mean, unless they start adding anytime 2-point conversion, then you're shit out of luck.
That would be an interesting bet.
I mean, those odds should be crazy.
Yeah, those would be crazy odds. But aside from these predictions, which mine were, I think, a little safe this week, but that's okay. We're going to move on to the score prediction, and I'll let you go first again. What's your score? And you can't say Rams over 100.
Oh, I wasn't going to. 27-9. I think. Well, first off, the Rams are undefeated when I think it's when they get to 20. Yeah, 24. They're undefeated when they hit 24. That's the magic number. So I have them a little bit over the magic number. Give late game field goal. Get what the hell's his name? I totally blanking on his name right now. Lucas Haversick. Get him a field goal kick. I don't think he's been that bad, by the way. I have to say that. I don't think he's been that bad. He's like 5 for 6. I mean, it's not bad. But yeah, get Lucas Haversick some work. I see 27-9. I think the defense will be out in full force. I think we're going to see it, Alexis. It's going to prove my point. the defense can look like an elite defense when the offense is just at least good. If the offense is good, if the offense is like, if they were to go back to like, Sean McVay 2017-18, this defense would be even better. But all this defense needs is for the offense to sustain some drives, not 3 and out, not punt a ton, and just go out there and just be a good team. Like when Kyron is in the lineup, they average 25 a game. When he's not, they average 14. So I want to see at least 25 in this game with Kyron in the lineup.
That's a very good score prediction, and it's very similar to mine. So I think we're in the same train of thought, because I had 28-10. So you're 27. I know. So I was like thinking, honestly, as you were talking, I was like, should I like change mine? But no, I'm going to keep it at 28-10.
I talked you back into your original prediction.
Well, I was only going to change it because I wanted us to have more of a stark contrast just to make it more interesting, but we're totally on the same page.
Yeah.
So yeah, 28-10. Listen, I think that the Browns are going to end up scoring a touchdown with Kareem Hunt and then have a field goal. So all in all, compared to what I think the Rams are going to do, it's going to be a successful game. And yeah, I mean, I just think, I don't know that Joe Flacco is going to get it done against this Rams defense. I just don't. I think that the Rams are figuring out things offensively for the better. I think that, they had a really good week. I think they're going to take that in the next week against the Browns. And I think we're going to see Rams win.
I think so too. I feel good about it. Rams move to 6-6, get those playoff odds up to, I think it'd be 55%. Then,
with the win, it's 55%, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and we need someone to lose, right? It's if we win and who?
So what will probably happen is I'll go live after the game per usual. And then during that, the game will come on because, I'll be sitting there stuck, like answering, 15 different people or more on the call-ins, and the game will be on, and everyone and their mother is a Chiefs fan this Sunday. If you were a Rams fan, it's really that simple. And to be honest with you, Alexis, I'm not going to pull any punches when I say this. I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of those damn commercials. I don't want to see any more Travis Kelce. I have nothing against him. I'm just tired of the commercials. I don't care. Travis Kelce is the 2-time champion. Campbell's commercial. I don't need to hear about Mahomes Auto ever again. I'm so tired of all of those cringy ass commercials. I'm actually kind of bitter because Stafford only got that one pizza commercial, and that was it. That was our Super Bowl. Like, they won the Super Bowl. It's like, oh, here, we'll just give you kind of that. And now it's like nonstop Chiefs commercials. So long, but just to make a point, I'm not a Chiefs fan by any stretch, as you know, and you knew off air.
I never would have guessed.
But hey, pulling for them like they're my own this Sunday. Regardless, if the Rams lose to the Browns, they need the Packers to lose anyway. I think it becomes even more vital. So hopefully, the Chiefs go into Lambeau Field. I think it was the original Ice Bowl matchup, the first Super Bowl. I don't know, but they go into Lambeau Field and hopefully they win. And hopefully, what'd be really cool is that Marquez Valdez-Scantling caught the game-winning touchdown against the Packers.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
That dude is not in the right headspace right now. Like, he's dealing with it. He's going through it. So let's give him a game winner on prime time and help the Rams out, since these all come down to the wire when the Rams need it. If you've noticed, got to sweat it out.
That is very true. So you heard him, guys.
Dallas.
Yeah, that's very true. But hey, you guys heard him this week. Cheer for the Packers.
No,
or not for the Packers, for the Chiefs.
You traitor.
For the Chiefs. I was thinking don't cheer for the Packers.
Yeah,
in my mind.
No, I know.
No. Yeah, cheer for the Kansas City Chiefs this weekend, and for a Rams win. We got to win as well, because that's really going to help our playoff push if we want to get a wild card spot. So we got to sweat it out, as Jake said. But guys, that's going to do it for us. We enjoyed watching the Cardinals win, or with the Rams win. I need to log off, man.
Yeah, you're just all over the place.
My mind is all over the place. Okay, we enjoyed watching the Rams win this weekend. We're hoping to see them win again this weekend.
Who's the quarterback of the Rams, real quick? Is it Brock Berlin?
No, I'm sorry. My head hurts so bad. I'm sorry, guys. I have a headache and I'm laughing. Jake isn't helping because I see him dying laughing at my first mistake. And then I'm watching him judge me for one mistake. So I'm making more, but watching him the entire time. And it's just a vicious cycle. So we're just going to say that's going to do it for us, guys. As always, if you like what you hear, please like and subscribe. You can follow us on social media at Downtown Rams. You can follow Jake on Twitter at JKBogan. And you can follow me at the Alexis Kraft. We're out, guys. We'll talk to you soon. But until then, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.
And put Torrey Holt in the Hall of Fame.